Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bill. Today what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put an airbag delete tray from Mopar into the black bean here, just the black daily beater that I got. Hopefully the white hood didn't phase the camera out too much on that. I'm actually going to set the camera up on the trunk of this white car here while I take the dash pad out. So what we're going to need to do this job is to turn the airbag light off, you're going to need a 2 ohm resistor. I've tried 2.2 eighth watt, I've tried 2 ohm half watt. They all seem to work. I got 3 different styles here that I've actually used. They all do the same thing. They all turn the light off. So it's nothing crazy. Also, if anybody does have a battery light on, or they're cleaning up a harness and they want to get rid of that sensor, or if they got a car that's been pieced together using an 04 PCM with an 05 harness and the battery light's on, I also have resistors for those. I have a ton of these. Let me know in the comments if you guys want one. I can go ahead and get one mailed out. That's no big deal. What I would do is just tape it inside of a piece of paper, drop it in an envelope, put a stamp on it. It'd be cheap to get to you guys. It may take a couple extra days, but no reason in trying to charge somebody $3 or $4 for a single resistor when, I mean, you could buy, I think I got 100 of these off eBay for like 15 bucks, but you still got to cover the cost of the stamp and the envelope. So I mean, the $1 a piece is usually pretty fair in my opinion. To go ahead and let these go. But yeah, the airbag resistors, those do cost a little bit more. If anybody wants to get one from me, I charge $2 shipped for one of those. If you buy 2 of them, I'll do it for $3. But that's only just because they're going in the same envelope, so I'll just take the extra $1 for the resistor itself and get that coming your way. So yeah, you're gonna need a resistor to turn the airbag light off. Now, I don't know if the aftermarket ones that are being made by, I think it's Special Carbon Fiber, they're doing fiberglass ones and carbon fiber ones. The Mopar one actually has a spot for the connector. So when you do the airbag delete, you can plug that connector in there. That way it's not in there just flopping around and grounding out on something potentially. So that is one nice thing that Mopar airbag delete tray does offer if you buy the Mopar Performance one. And then what you would need, I'm using this tool just to pull the clip off of the connector for the airbag. And then a 10mm socket, I got various ones, and then a Phillips screwdriver to go ahead and pull the trim panels off and the screws that are going to hold the airbag and delete tray in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the dash pad off. Now again, I don't know if you guys have seen my cluster video. It is very simple. There is one screw, quick. One screw right here, same thing on the other side. And if you've never had your dash out, there's usually a screw here and a screw here. They're pretty long. When you do those, there is an easy way to do it because it is kind of a pain to get a short screwdriver in there. So what I would use, if you can have access to it, or if you can run to like Home Depot or something, or Harbor Freight real quick, they have these little ratcheting bit drivers. They are a lifesaver when you're trying to get those guys out. And then you just get a set of shallow bits or whatever. If you got a bit that's this long, it'll still work to get those screws out. So nothing crazy there, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set the camera out. I'm gonna pull the dash pad off on this one. I'll get the pillars pulled off, and then I'll go ahead and I'll bring you guys inside the car when I'm ready to start pulling the airbag. When I was talking about the tools earlier, I didn't find out until I got into the job and actually was getting the airbag out. You are gonna need 13mm deep well socket and or a 13mm short ratcheting wrench to get the nuts off the back of the airbag. The nuts, so it actually, when it sits in the car just like this, you're gonna have these 2 nuts that you'll be able to see from underneath through the glove box, and then this one is over top of the bar. If you reach your hand up here, you can feel it. So yeah, so it's nothing crazy. And then the connector is on this side. You'll be able to see that in the car. I didn't talk about it much when I disconnected it, but all you gotta do is just squeeze the tabs, pull it out. No big deal, it's pretty simple. Just definitely make sure that you guys unhook your battery. Wait 2 minutes before you start doing this job. I'd hate for you guys to be servicing the car, trying to pull the airbag out, working with it, and for some reason it decides it wants to discharge. So unhook the battery, wait 2 to 5 minutes, go get yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you gotta do, have a cigarette if that's what you're into, and then go ahead and start pulling this guy apart. Like I said, hopefully that white hood doesn't make too much of a glare in the camera. I hope it works out. If it doesn't, I'm sorry guys. Hopefully you'll see where I'm at to go ahead and pull these screws out, but you will be able to see inside the car when I get you there because the light will adjust by the time I get there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this apart and then I'll bring you guys back. Actually, I got my favorite playlist queued up here on YouTube. Forgot about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some tunes cranking. Okay, so got the dash pad out. There is 3 screws. There's one here, here and here. And then there are 2 more that are here and here that hold the cover of the airbag to the dash itself. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna actually take the glove box right out. So there's 3 screws here, here, and here. So you just take your screw gun. If I'd have it the right way, that'd probably work better. Take these screws out. Make myself look like an idiot in front of everybody. That's okay. We all make mistakes. And then just open the glove box. And then you gotta push it on the tabs. So you push it on this corner and then you can kind of twist it out. Glove box comes, everything out of the way. Now I already had this off, but it just pops in. So what I do is it's easy enough to just reach your hand back here, pop that guy out. You don't need any special tools or anything. Then you go ahead and pull these screws out for the airbag cover. Okay. And then this bottom one here and here. So those are out. And then there's 3 nuts on this. One of them was already out. This is what the nut's gonna look like. So there's a nut here. There is a nut here. And I think there's a nut on the top, or there should be. Yep, it is right in the dead middle. And that is where the ratchet, your 13mm deep well socket. This was just a 10. I got a short ratcheting wrench. I'm going to use this instead. I have these, so I don't know if anybody else has these or not. It does make it easy. So you go ahead and you pull those 3 nuts off. Okay, so I got my 3 nuts off. I'll show you where that last one is just in case you can't find it with your hands until we're at this part. But you got these 2 screws out, these 3 screws out, 3 nuts that hold the bag itself in. So you push on the back a little bit, the studs will come out. And then, as I was saying earlier, never mind. This one doesn't have that same connector. Interesting. So I guess what hook's there? That don't make sense. Maybe it does. Maybe it does still hook in there somehow. I guess I was wrong. Because I thought some of the ones that I had, that this connector was there, but it had a small jumper. Unless this is just a base model dash. I suppose it could be. I'd have to do some digging on that. Oh well. Either way. Alright, I'm gonna grab the other one. Okay, so we're getting ready to put the airbag in. The resistor leads are insanely long. They don't need to be. So if you got dikes or wire cutters or side cutters, whatever you want to call them. I got used to calling them dikes as a kid. And I cut probably 2/3 of that leg off. Maybe. These guys are dull. No, they did. Okay. That way you only got a little bit. Bend it in. And shove one end in the connector. Bend the other leg. Well, probably just bend them both together. Get that squared away so you're not stressing one side of it and breaking a lead off. And then you just kind of shove it in. Now I leave it a little bit. That way the stress of the wire will actually push it out and make sure that it makes contact at some point. That way you don't have to worry about it vibrating and losing the connection and kicking the light on and having to deal with it later. So like I said, I bend them out a little bit. That way it'll put a little bit of stress against the lead, keep it a little bit tighter. Then take some electrical tape, wrap it over the end. That way we're not worried about shorting it out or setting any other faults or dealing with it. Try the bottom this time. How's actually able to shove the one side in quite a bit. So if you cut the lead shorter, you can shove them in a little further. It does make it a little bit nicer, and then you could actually probably just wrap it around this way. The hell with it. Doesn't want to work with me the other way. I want it to just fall out and slip off, so just do it this way, I guess. It'd be a lot easier to do. And I don't think this one's going to plug into that connector port, but we'll see. Yeah, it definitely didn't. So I guess I'm not entirely sure what this is for. Because there is no glove box light. Huh. Yeah, like I said, for some reason, I thought they had an inline connector that went from this, and it had another one that would plug in the back, and it was like some kind of a jumper that went from the dash harness to the airbag harness. But on this one, it don't, so I don't know if this one is a base model dash that got swapped in, or if the SRT is like that. I can't remember right now. So, I guess what I would do with this then is I would just end up zip tying it right to the lead for the trunk popper, calling it a day on that one. So I'm gonna go grab a zip tie. Okay. So actually I'm gonna do two. So I'm gonna loop it a little bit. I'll get them started and then I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. That way we can make sure that the connector stays away from any other wire. And it won't be a worry of it causing a short or anything like that. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if the camera will stay here for me. Hopefully it's not too crooked. It doesn't want to work. Okay, that'll work actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get the lead for the airbag connector here to actually follow the contour of this wire, and I'm tucking it on this side, so when I put it together it'll actually lay kind of like this. Keep it away from the sharp edge here, and that wire won't be close to damaging anything else, kind of just floating around on its own. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get that in there. Give me a second here. And then you just pop the airbag tray back in. So it does have some tabs that line it back up. You don't want to bust these guys off. That snaps in. You got 3 screws on the top, 2 on the bottom. This is an old one, it's been scratched. This was the one that was in my first car actually. So I have 3 of these, and because I took the dash out of the white car, I had one available. Yeah, hopefully you guys have seen that. I know it does have the wide angle, but so I do have one available that I took out of the white one because we are pulling the dash, put the cage and everything in it. It's not gonna have an interior, so it'll be a race car. So I had this one left over and I said, well, you know, I really do enjoy having them. They are convenient for, you know, storage. I figured I'd go ahead and shoot a video together here and show you guys how to go ahead and slam one of these in. So we'll get these 2 on the bottom. Sure we're in. Ready to rock. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put this on right now. And then I got the glove box. So that's when the bottom's out, it's a lot easier to do this part because you just kind of put an angle to it. It takes just a lot of stress away. Lock it into the top. Put your 3 screws in from the bottom. Notice I'm not just ramming them in. They don't need to be in super tight. So that's in, that's in. That's together. So I just got the dash pad and then fillers, and that's it. Well, at this point, what you could do, hook the battery back up, make sure that your light does turn off. That way, if you have to tear it apart, you don't have to go ahead and pull everything apart. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'll do that real quick. Hook the battery back up, turn the key on, make sure the light's gonna stay off, and if it is, I'll go ahead and put the dash pad back on. Alrighty guys, so airbag light is off. We got her. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the dash pad back on, and we'll wrap this one up. See if it works. Oh man, airbag light went out. We're good to go. Awesome. So yeah, hopefully this helps you guys out. Anybody looking at trying to do an airbag delete, if they're buying an aftermarket one from Sergio, I think is his name at Special Carbon Fiber. It might not be. Might be pronounced differently, I guess. It has been a little bit since I looked. But yeah, so hopefully this video helps you guys out in trying to get an airbag delete tray put in. If you have any questions or anything like that, definitely go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely thanks for checking us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I got really loud for a second. So thanks for checking us out today, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely give us a like, comment with anything you might like to see, any questions you might have on anything that we're doing. And you guys have yourself a good one, and we will see you at the track. Thanks.